build on Victor's point and what you have said, I would say that, and thank you, Carl, for mentioning the role of France, because if you look at what France is doing today in the Ivory Coast in the past few days, the never again principle doesn't apply, because it still meddles in African affairs and it still calls the shots and creates deaths on the ground. So I'm really wondering what has been Rwanda's position in regards to what's been happening in the Ivory Coast, and is there a hope for Rwanda that is free from international interference?
Yeah, I think up to now, but of course every day I have to read the news. Up to now, there is no Rwanda's reaction to what is taking place in Ivory Coast. What I saw was how the journalists were asking the Rwanda's response to what's taking place in Libya, because Museveni is against what's taking in Libya, and Rwanda, they are saying, yeah, the resolution should be enforced. So up to now, there is no stand of Rwanda on what is taking place in Ivory Coast. So that's the information I have.
Probably in a political way, I think Rwanda is being so freedom. If Rwanda talk about Ivory Coast today, of course, we talk about France. And I think this time they are trying to rebuild the relationship. They open the embassies again, and yeah, to try to remove all things here, separating with them. But I think that's why they are not talking about that very much. But if you ask them, if you ask Rwanda, then of course they're going to react on that. Yeah. I mean, there is an external factors, as we can say, France and any other country. But also, we can't say that we are angels internally. There's also internal problems. So we can't always blame outside without being responsible internally. So what Rwanda is trying to do is now to build the nation based on ground solution, so that by being strong with their minimum needs, then they can do the equal diplomacy, not being under any influence. Of course, we don't have enough means. We are still depending on 50% of the budget. So still we need, and if we have to have our own 100% of budget, still we need good relations. But we are really reluctant on this kind of imperialism, if you can say that. And by all means, we say, please, no, let's try our own means. And when the Rwanda cut its diplomatic relation with France, every Africa comes for saying what Rwanda is doing, is trying to do, a small country facing France. But I think we did in a respectful way. And now France is coming back, discussing with Rwanda, not by imposing. So I think that's all Africans should do. Accept sacrifice for the moment, but with really dignity. So, but the diplomats have to play this role.
Now, during your presentation, you did mention something like that there are a group of people who feel that they did not complete the work that they started. Now, what is the policy that the government has taken in order to stop the action of these people who still feel that they have to complete the work that they started? And then secondly, I want to come back to the explanation. It's like there's no compensatory process going on for the group that suffered a lot during the genocide. But what I understand is that during this period, there is one group which has been favored. And if you want to come for example, employment opportunity, and you want to level the ground for the people who had not had the opportunity to go to school, you will still discover that those who have been marginalized will still remain behind. So, and the other day you were talking about a particular court which was in place to maybe question some of the people who did the atrocities and genocide. So I'm like a little bit interested to know what are the compensatory measures which the government has taken in order to give these people who have been marginalized for a very long time, in order for them to make them fit for the competition which you are talking about.
Maybe I can start with this question, like the last one. We have many initiatives for helping genocide survivors. You know, we have one fund, yeah, like national fund, which is particularly for helping the genocide survivors. And every single every person who have a job has to have some percentage of contribution in this fund. So it is to help and promote those genocide survivors. But some other means that are being implemented is to build new generation where there are no inequalities there are no injustice, there are no inequalities. So we really still have to help the survivors, and there are many mechanisms of helping them, lifting them up, but again building a new generation which no longer have this. But for sure, there's no program saying that this is for Tutsi because they have been left behind. No.
Yeah, I think the time is almost over, but responding to your first question, what the government is trying to stop those who feel that they have not yet finished the job. Of course, it is both internally and externally. In the country, we still have people who still have such kind of ideology. And what the government is doing is to sensitize people to live peacefully. But in addition to that, you know, in most cases in Africa, what happens is having weak institutions, whether in social, economic, political. So we are trying to have strong institutions that are responsible to the citizens. Then on the point of external, of course, we have some genocide perpetrators living in Africa, living in Europe, as well as in Asia. So what they are doing, of course, is it's always genocide, denial, and trying to use force to come back in Rwanda using the FDL rebels in Eastern DRC. So what the government is trying to do is to build good diplomatic relations with all countries all over the world. And through building these diplomatic relations, it's where the country will get the support of these countries where these genocide perpetrators are living. Take an example like maybe France, Germany, US, UK. We are trying to build a relationship with them, explaining what happened and how we intend to solve this problem. So the process says they are going on well. It's only through building good diplomatic relations and trying to get support from them. Of course, this is happening and that's how it is being handled. And it is really a process that may even take 30 years. It's not a process that will take 10, 20 years, no. It's a process that will take very many years, as well as internally, as we are saying that we are trying to build oneness. Of course, it's a process that can even take 70 and 100 years and so forth. So briefly, I would like to thank you, everybody who have participated, and we are sorry we have 4 minutes. So thank you, everybody, for...
Concerning the website that Lillian and Sani are doing, there's an email right here if you want to take it, if you're willing, or if you're interested in sending messages when it comes to the commemoration of the genocide. And it's too bad we don't have any time because I had quite a few questions too.
We'll continue the discussion for the moment.
Sorry.